Hello, this is GeoTechLand, and today I'll be talking about what I think are the best alternative social networks, especially when it comes to free speech, being based on open technology, and even to various degrees being decentralized. So the very first one I'll be talking about today is Diaspora. And as you guys can see here, this is the Diaspora interface, or at least this is how a individual profile looks like. And Diaspora itself has been around the longest. It was launched around 2010, 2011-ish. So a few key things about this software, or the software behind Diaspora, is decentralized. So anyone can install the software on their own server and connect to the main overall network. This makes it so that, let's say you're very paranoid and you don't want anyone else kind of knowing what messages you write or anything like that. You can host the software on your own computer or your own server and run it yourself, essentially. And so let me actually take you to my stream. So these are tags I follow. So why am I seeing this post, for example? It's because I follow the open source tag here. And this is what you can expect to see from the stream here. So you'll only see what hashtags you wanna follow here. Obviously it has aspects that you can also follow, friends, family, acquaintances, and the like. Biggest criticisms with this system is that there is no filtering. So a lot of the times, if you're following something like Linux, you'll see things in other languages. Right now, the most recent ones are all in English. That's a good sign. So I'm hoping they eventually add some way to filter out regions or languages. The other thing is that you can change the theme in the settings. It mostly just changes the colors, but I always have it to dark theme here. And it's been around the longest, so it may not be very popular with like the other social networks I'll be talking about, because it came out a few years ago. There's just not as much publicity, or just not many people know about this social media. In contrast to Diaspora, this is the Minds social network. You guys can see here, it looks a lot nicer, a lot more modern of a look. And here you can see through my profile things I've posted. The few key things about this is that this social network is powered by cryptocurrencies. So I mean, it's sort of still in beta, but it's going to be built on Ethereum. And so eventually, for contributions you make on the social media site, whether it's commenting, liking, posting, you'll earn I guess cryptocurrencies. And so that's kind of a neat feature that it's implementing. The other thing too that Minds is doing pretty good off the bat is that it has apps for iOS and Android, so it makes it a lot easier for everyone to use. Let's go to my newsfeed here, so you can see hashtags, very Twitter-esque here, but these are boosted content. The very first post is boosted content. But if you go down, then you'll just start seeing all the posts that you follow. The other thing too, you can see the channels, the top channels you subscribe to, top videos. So I like that it's organized this way. So in a sense, when you click on images, it'll be like browsing through, like, let's say something like Instagram. If you go through videos, it'll be like browsing something through YouTube. And if you go to blogs, you can see blog posts. So this would be like browsing through, let's say something like Medium, for example. So I really like this feature, and it's very unique to Minds. I guess the only other thing I would criticize Minds on is that it's not decentralized. So I guess it's all powered from a few servers or their own servers. Although based on the videos I've posted directly to Minds, it does seem like it is powered by WebTorrent technology. So if you guys see here, peers. So that's definitely a very good thing. The other thing with Minds is that they are a private company, whereas a lot of the social media sites I'm covering are actually not private companies. They're more organizations or communities, nonprofits. So I feel that because it's for profit, it always has a higher chance of being corrupted. So I think that's fair criticism. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but it just has I guess a greater possibility of it becoming more corrupt somehow. The next social media network I'll be covering is Mastodon. So Mastodon is very similar to Diaspora, where anyone, or the software is distributed for free. Anyone can host their own content or their own profiles. It's a lot more closer to Twitter. Here you can see your home. The home will show you your post and people you follow. If you go to the local timeline, you can see in real time people on the same server that you're on. So I'm on mastodon.social. You can see all the posts that people are posting locally. Or you can go to the federated timeline and see all the posts people around the world, or not around the world, but around all the Mastodon instances or servers. It actually does have a filter, unlike Diaspora. It doesn't work too well, but it works a lot better. So I can browse through the local timeline and see most of them be in English. The federated timelines, they're a bit more mixed. Let me actually show you what a profile looks like. Again, this also has a very modern look to it. And because it's decentralized, there isn't any dedicated app for this. Although you could probably use web apps, that may be better. So here's my profile. The cool thing I like is I can link 4 URLs to my other sites like PeerTube, DTube. Alright, so that about covers the social networks. So those 3 that we've covered are alternatives to Twitter and Facebook. Now, if you wanted more alternatives to YouTube, in terms of video hosting, the first one here is DTube. And DTube, again, it's a very new system here. There's a lot to like and a lot to dislike about this. First of all, the look to it is very modern again. It's new and exciting and popular. And when you post a video, anytime anyone likes a video, you earn Steemit coins, or Steam coins, cryptocurrencies essentially. And so it's kind of a good way to incentivize creators to post and get paid for posting their content. The biggest cons to this though is that because it's very new and it's trying to do a lot, the system itself, especially when it comes to uploading videos, is very buggy. So I've seen a lot of creators come and go because they would start posting, and I'm assuming that they stop because there's always issues with posting videos. They recently introduced live streams. And actually, let me go to the home so you can see the type of people or content creators that are currently on. Here are a few things. It's like ad-free. It's obviously resistant to censorship. And part of why it's very unstable is that it's based on this technology, which is very new. It's similar to BitTorrent, but it's a little bit different. And here you can read more about it. The next video hosting network here is BitChute, and BitChute is also a newcomer. They're fairly popular. They're also implementing cryptocurrencies into their system here. It's still fairly new though. Mostly it's just been taking donations through Patreon. Now, the one really good thing I like about this so far that separates it from the rest is that you don't have to post videos directly on here. You can sync up your YouTube channel so when you publish on YouTube, it'll also publish on BitChute, which makes things a lot easier and incentivizes people to keep using the service here. This also isn't at least from what I've read, I'm not even sure if it's a private company, but they're funded through their Patreon. Although there's now many different ways to support here. If you go to help us grow, you can fund through PayPal, through Patreon, or send them cryptocurrencies. Every once in a while though, when you publish on YouTube, your video will not publish on BitChute. It has happened to me sometimes, but nothing compared to the issues I've had with DTube. So again, it varies in that sense. And the last video networking or social network site is PeerTube. PeerTube also is very similar to Mastodon and Diaspora in that it is decentralized, so anyone can have hosting and host their own videos. They have to install the software and then connect it to other instances or servers. This is a general view of how my profile looks like. What I like about it is it gives the server admins a lot of control. So like a lot of new social networking or video hosting sites, they limit you to like 720p, and this gives server admins a lot more control. So if you had a server admin that has a beefy server, they could allow 1080p, so you don't necessarily have to sacrifice quality. In terms of uploading video content or videos, it makes it very easy, but it keeps it pretty simple. You can add captions, thumbnails, you can change the language, so it has a lot of the basics. So right now you can only subscribe if you're on Mastodon, because what happens is when you join PeerTube, it automatically creates a Mastodon account for you for your channel. So that's kind of the big thing that probably should get implemented. Here's a list of the trending videos. So peertube.social, again, that's its own URL. There's many different instances. If you go to their about, you can list, they all have their own rules and stuff, and I actually help mod this. And so if you're kind of wondering which one should you join, it's up to you. I've listed all their pros and cons. And another big thing to consider though is the communities that are largely on these social networks. So like on Diaspora, it's largely open source, Linux enthusiasts, and obviously in general people that are against companies data mining you. And so I personally prefer this community. Where on Minds it's kind of a mixed community. You get a lot of free speech activists, conservatives that were banned from YouTube, but you get a little bit of a mix too. You get some open source advocates here, so I would say this is the most balanced. Mastodon, again, it's very similar like Diaspora, a lot of open source enthusiasts, and so again I prefer this community as well. On DTube, you actually find a lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts, and you do find a little bit of that more tech community, so I personally enjoy this community as well. BitChute, on the other hand, is kind of an interesting scenario where, I mean, it's obviously welcoming to everyone, but if you go to their Twitter account, they tend to promote a lot of free speech activists with a conservative, I would say, bias. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I just would recommend they kind of try to bring people from all walks of life so that it's not just one set of people on here, because that's going to make other people not want to join your network. And so personally, even though I like and I will continue to use BitChute, I'm not crazy about it because it's largely catering to just one demographic, but that can change, so I'll always keep them in mind here. And on PeerTube, again, like Mastodon, Diaspora, it's open source enthusiasts, nonprofit enthusiasts, so I would honestly recommend joining all of them or as much as possible, but it's just going to be with whatever, also what community you prefer to be part of. Other than that, guys, I hope you liked the video, and if you found it helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.